For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
To have my amendment called up at this point.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 21, printed in House Report number 111-498, offered by Mr. Gutierrez of Illinois.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1404, the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Gutierrez, and a member opposed. Each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois.
Mr. Speaker, in 2009, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration fined BP $87 million for hundreds of safety violations at a Texas City refinery, many of which were originally identified after the 2005 explosion and then ignored there. As recently as 2 months ago, BP was fined another $3 million for violations at the Toledo, Ohio refinery, similar to those identified in the 2005 Texas City refinery explosion. Again, just like in 2005, no steps were taken to correct the safety violations. This blatant disregard for workers' lives shows that BP is a bad partner for the U.S. government. But I rise today to say that BP stands for too many broken promises, too many broken lives, and too many broken laws. My amendment is simple, common sense amendment that would require that the Secretary of Defense consider disbarring BP if it finds that BP is not a responsible source. As a federal contractor, BP must meet federal acquisition regulation standards as a responsible source. What's the definition of a responsible source? It includes the provision that a prospective contractor must have, quote, a satisfactory record of integrity and business ethics. As we've already defined, they do not uphold that standard. As well, they must have a satisfactory performance record. To take that definition from the Webster's Dictionary, integrity is, quote, firm adherence to a code or standard of values. BP clearly does not meet the standards set by even the lowest code of values. The history that I've talked about cannot be ignored. In March of 2005, before the recent explosion at a BP Texas refinery, 15 people lost their lives. 180 were injured. Investigators from the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Protection Board believe this explosion could have been avoided had it been not for organizational, quote, and safety deficiency at all levels of BP Corporation. And when they polluted in Alaska, the EPA and every government official encouraged the U.S. attorney to indict them criminally for their abuse of safety standards. Now, let me just say, this comes straight from BP's Code of Conduct. BP Code of Conduct. It's right here. I've got it right down from the internet. And here's what it says. Our Code of Conduct is the cornerstone of our commitment to integrity. Integrity, an important consideration in how BP addresses integrity, quote, comes from right here. It says, Code of Conduct is the cornerstone of our commitment to her. Moreover, within their Code of Conduct, BP states that they are committed to providing all BP employees with a safe and secure work environment where no one is subject to unnecessary risk. You know what further it says here, right from their manual and Code of Conduct? They say right here on page 72, it says right here, make sure you know what to do if an emergency occurs at your place of work. Right from their BP manual and Code of Conduct. Clearly, they're not meeting their Code of Conduct, but it gets worse. This comes from this very manual, which I'm going to ask unanimous consent to be admitted into the record.
Gentleman's request is covered by general leave.
Quote, we aim for no accidents, no harm to people, and no damage to the environment. 0 for 3. I didn't make this up. It's in their Code of Conduct. And if we are supposed to be responsible and make sure that contractors, $2 billion we buy from BP every year. I say we buy not $1 more of their oil. They have been irresponsible, and they don't even meet their own code of conduct that comes down from their own website. Mr. Speaker, I think we have an obligation, a responsibility to the American taxpayers to respond. And what does my simple amendment say? It says the Secretary of Defense should consider disbarring them if he finds they don't meet the code of conduct, which should be administered to every provider of goods to the American people in which we spend the American taxpayers' dollars. I yield back the balance of my time, Mr. Speaker.
On this vote, the ayes are 372, the nays are 52. The amendment is adopted.